The city of Lagos never sleeps, but under the bridge near Ojulegba, life is different. Amidst noise from Danfo buses and hawkers, Amara Nwokoi kneels with a piece of chalk, sketching numbers on a broken wooden board. Around her, barefoot children sit on the cold ground, their eyes bright with hunger for knowledge. Amara's clothes are tattered, her slippers almost broken, yet she speaks with the authority of someone who once walked the halls of a university. Once, she was a first-class student in economics, a girl destined for greatness. But life changed overnight. Her parents died in a ghastly accident, greedy relatives swallowed her inheritance, and she found herself on the streets. Instead of giving up, she chose to give back, tutoring kids who could never afford school. On this particular evening, the children echo her lessons with excitement. 2 times 2 is 4. Good, she says, smiling. But something unusual happens. A sleek, black SUV slows down near the bridge. Inside sits Chief Damien Okoro, one of Lagos's wealthiest real estate moguls. He watches silently, his face unreadable. His 10-year-old son, Tabena, leans forward eagerly. "Daddy, that's her. That's the teacher I told you about." Chief Okoro frowns. "You mean this, girl?" He says the word with disgust, as if it's poison in his mouth. "Yes, Daddy," Tabena insists. "She teaches with so much passion. Please, I want her to teach me too." The mogul's jaw tightens. "Never. My son will not learn from a beggar in rags." But Tabena's eyes stay glued to Amara, who at that very moment looks up and notices the tinted glass window watching her. She doesn't yet know that this powerful man is about to turn her life upside down. Inside the sprawling mansion of the Okoros, dinner is served on golden plates. Chief Okoro sits at the head of the table, his wife abroad on business, leaving only him and Tabena. But the boy isn't eating. His thoughts are still under the bridge. "Daddy," he whispers, "please let Amara teach me. She's different." Chief Okoro slams his cutlery down. "Enough. Do you know who I am? Your teacher must be the best money can buy. I'll hire professors from Harvard, Cambridge, anywhere, but not that homeless girl." "But Daddy—" Silence. Behind his anger lies fear. Chief Okoro is obsessed with image. He built his empire from nothing and despises anything that reminds him of his own poor beginnings. A homeless girl teaching his son? To him, it's an insult to his name. Later that night, Tabena sneaks to his room and scribbles in his notebook, "One day, Amara will teach me." The very next day, Chief Okoro drives straight to the bridge. Amara is there, her class in full swing. The children clap as she draws on the board. Suddenly, his shadow falls over her. "You," he snaps. "Stay away from my son." The children scatter, afraid of his booming voice. Amara rises slowly. "Sir, I don't know what you mean. I've never spoken to your son." Okoro throws a bundle of cash at her feet. "Take this and disappear. People like you don't belong here." Amara's fists tighten. Her pride burns. "I don't want your money. These children deserve a chance to learn." Okoro smirks coldly. "You, a girl with nothing. What future can you give them?" He turns and walks away, his expensive shoes splashing through the puddles. Unbeknownst to him, Tabena is hiding nearby. His admiration for Amara grows even stronger. One Saturday morning, Tabena convinces his driver to take a short ride. Instead, he sneaks under the bridge where Amara teaches. "Please teach me," he begs. Amara hesitates. "Your father will be furious if he finds out." "I don't care," Tabena says firmly. "I want to learn from you." Something in his eyes reminds Amara of her late younger brother. She sighs and agrees. Their first lesson begins. Amara doesn't teach with rigid textbooks. She uses bottle caps for arithmetic, stones for division, and road signs for spelling. Tabena laughs, enjoying learning for the first time. Week after week, he sneaks out to study. Slowly, his grades improve in school. Teachers begin to notice. But Chief Okoro is blind to it all, until one fateful day, on a hot afternoon, Okoro arrives at the bridge unannounced. He freezes at the sight, Tabena, sitting cross-legged on the ground, happily solving math problems as Amara guides him. Okoro's rage explodes. What is this nonsense? He yanks his son by the arm. Have you lost your mind? The crowd gathers. Amara tries to explain. Sir, your son has a gift. He just needed the right approach. Shut your mouth. Okoro roars. You dare defy me? You are nothing but a street beggar. Stay away from my family or I'll have you arrested. The children watch in silence as he drags Tabena away. Okoro throws a final insult. You'll never amount to anything. Amara's chest tightens, but she refuses to cry. She whispers to herself, one day, this man will regret underestimating me. That moment lights a fire in her heart, the fire of a comeback that will stun the world. That night, Amara lies on a torn mat under the bridge, her mind replaying Chief Okoro's words, you'll never amount to anything. Each insult feels like a dagger, but instead of breaking her, it fuels her. She thinks about her parents' dream for her to become a lecturer, about the degree certificate she never got to use. Amara knows one thing, if she wants to truly silence Chief Okoro, she must rise above her situation. The next morning, she visits an internet cafe, using the little money she makes from hawking sachet water. She applies for a community education grant she once overheard NGO volunteers discussing. Her essay, written in tears and fire, tells her story, a girl who lost everything but still teaches others. Meanwhile, Tabena sulks in his mansion. His father forbids him from mentioning Amara again. You'll forget her, Okoro growls. But the boy secretly writes letters to Amara, giving them to the driver to deliver. Each letter encourages her, don't give up. You are the best teacher I've ever had. Weeks later, Amara receives an email. Her application has been shortlisted. If she passes the final interview, she'll get funding to start a real community learning center. For the first time in months, hope flickers. Amara arrives at the NGO's office dressed in borrowed clothes, her hair neatly tied. She faces a panel of professionals who ask tough questions. Why should we invest in you? You have no roof, no financial backing. How will you manage a learning center? Amara takes a deep breath and answers with raw honesty. Because education saved me once. And if it can save me, it can save hundreds of children. I don't need fancy things, I just need chalk, a board, and a chance. Her words silence the room. One of the panelists, a woman named Ngozi, leans forward. You remind me of myself. I started with nothing too. You have the grant. Amara nearly faints from relief. Tears spill as she whispers, thank you. With the funding, Amara rents a small abandoned shop near the bridge. She paints the walls herself, borrows benches from a carpenter, and writes Hope Alive Learning Center above the doorway. The children cheer when they see it. But news spreads quickly and reaches the ears of Chief Okoro, who scoffs. So the beggar wants to play teacher? We'll see how long she lasts. The first day at Hope Alive Learning Center is chaotic yet beautiful. Children flood in, some barefoot, others clutching worn notebooks. Amara stands at the front, her voice steady. This is your school. Here, every child matters. She uses songs, games, and storytelling. Soon, the classroom buzzes with laughter and learning. Local market women notice and begin sending their kids. Even struggling teenagers sneak in. Tabena, confined to his mansion, hears about it from the driver and grows restless. Daddy, can I just visit once? He pleads. Okoro refuses. I will not have my son mixing with those street rats. But fate twists things. One afternoon, the boy runs away from home and heads straight to Hope Alive. When Amara sees him at the doorway, she freezes. Tabena, your father will. I don't care, he interrupts. I belong here. The children welcome him, and for the first time, Tabena feels like part of a family. Hours later, Okoro storms in with bodyguards. The classroom falls silent. His eyes burn as he drags his son out. This ends now, he growls. But even as Tabena is pulled away, his small voice echoes, I'll be back, Teacher Amara. At home, Okoro unleashes his fury. He grounds Tabena, cuts off outings, even confiscates his notebooks. You will never see that girl again, he bellows. But Tabena doesn't break. Secretly, He hides one of Amara's handouts under his pillow and studies by torchlight. His grades shoot up in school, shocking his teachers. Meanwhile, Okoro begins a campaign to discredit Amara. Using his influence, he pressures local authorities to shut down her learning center. One morning, policemen arrive with orders claiming she has no license. Children cry as the doors are locked. Amara feels crushed, but she refuses to surrender. She marches straight to the education board with her documents and the NGO grant letter. She defends her center passionately. These children deserve education, not excuses. If you shut us down, you're killing their future. Her boldness impresses the officials. They not only reinstate her license but also promise her additional support. When Okoro hears this, his pride is wounded. Who does she think she is? She's nothing compared to me. Yet deep down, cracks begin to form in his certainty. Months pass. Hope Alive becomes a sensation. Newspapers pick up the story of the homeless girl who built a school. Donations pour in from well-wishers. The center expands with new classrooms, proper desks, and even volunteer teachers. Amara transforms before everyone's eyes. No longer just a girl under the bridge, she becomes Madame Amara, respected by the community. One Saturday, the school hosts its first public exhibition. The children perform poems, dramas, and solve math problems on stage. Parents clap proudly. Reporters take photos. And in the front row, one face burns with silent fury, Chief Okoro. He watches as Tabena, despite his father's bans, sneaks onto the stage. The boy delivers a flawless speech, crediting Amara as the reason he now loves learning. The crowd erupts in applause. For the first time in years, Chief Okoro feels something he can't explain, a mix of shame, anger, and admiration. But his pride won't let him accept it. He storms out before the ceremony ends, muttering, "This girl hasn't seen the last of me." What he doesn't know is that Amara's comeback is only just beginning, and soon, she'll rise to heights that will leave him stunned. Hope Alive Learning Center is overflowing now. The morning chorus of "Good Morning, Madame Amara" rings like music as children file in with donated backpacks and second-hand shoes. A whiteboard lists the day's modules: basic math, civic education, spoken English, and a short dream session where kids practice introducing themselves like they're pitching their future. The community has rallied, and Amara has never been more focused. But success attracts enemies. A gossip blog posts a headline that detonates like a bomb: "Homeless girl turns kids into begging scheme. Where is the money?" The article claims Amara pockets donations, shows blurred photos of her buying paint and wood, for the center, obviously, and suggests the NGO grant was arranged. The comments are vicious. Anonymous accounts tag local authorities, "Shut it down." Amara's throat tightens as she reads. The younger ones don't know what's happening, but the older teens do, and they're rattled. "Auntie, are they going to close our school?" a girl asks, eyes glossy. "Look at me," Amara says gently. "We aren't doing anything wrong. When people can't attack your work, they attack your name." But truth stands. She breathes and phones Ngozi from the NGO. "We need transparency, fast." Ngozi doesn't blink. "Publish your accounts. Invite the press. Don't hide. Make the truth boring and the lie expensive." Within days, Amara organizes an open books day. She prints and pins receipts on a corkboard: rent, desks, chalk, water, internet cafe usage. A volunteer accountant walks journalists through line items. Parents give testimonials on camera, explaining how the center transformed their children. A carpenter shows his ledger proving he discounted benches. A donor corroborates transfers. It's not flashy, it's meticulous. Meanwhile, in his marble-floored office, Chief Damien Okoro watches the coverage with amusement. He recognizes the blog's tone. This is how reputation wars are fought. He didn't place the story, he doesn't need to, but he's not upset someone did. "Pride tastes sweet. She wanted to play in the big leagues," he mutters. "Let her learn." Back at the center, the kids run a mini-exhibition. A shy boy explains fractions with bottle caps. A teen recites a spoken-word poem about dignity that leaves the room silent. The cameras capture none of the scandal and all of the substance. Parents clap. Even a local teacher whispers to a reporter, I wish we taught like this. That night, a new headline surfaces, Street Classrooms Receipts Put Haters to Shame. Donations tick up again, this time from ordinary people, N5,000 here, N10,000 there, a corporate cashier who writes, for chalk and courage. Amara exhales for the first time in days. In the Okoro mansion, Tabena watches the video on his tablet. His cheeks glow with pride. She told them the truth, Daddy. No reply. Across the room, Okoro's jaw is set. The story didn't die, it evolved, and public sympathy for Amara grew. He hates the feeling gnawing inside him. He might be losing control of the narrative, and of his son. A circular arrives. The Lagos State Literacy and Numeracy Olympiad is open to community centers, public schools, and private academies. Winners get scholarships, textbooks, and mentorships. For the first time, Hope Alive can compete on a level field. Amara posts the sign-up sheet. Hands shoot up. She runs tryouts, not based on raw scores alone but on grit. Olympiad isn't just about being clever, she tells them. It's about thinking under pressure, speaking clearly, working as a team. She divides them into teams, numbers, words, and problem-solving. The training regime is brutal but joyful. Timed drills, peer teaching, confidence circles. She pulls quiet kids forward. Your voice matters. The microphone is not for decoration. Tabena hears about the Olympiad from the driver and is electric. He studies past questions by torchlight, timing himself with the seriousness of a surgeon. At school, his teachers are startled. His handwriting is neater, reasoning sharper. He raises his hand now, not to impress but to understand. The day of the preliminaries, a delay hits, venue change announced at dawn. Some teams miss it entirely. Rumors fly that someone with influence wanted fewer street competitors. Amara swallows the anger, hires 2 Kiki Napeps with donated cash, and ferries her kids across town. They arrive panting, dusty, and determined. Inside the hall, private academies sit in blazers, shiny water bottles neatly aligned. Hope Alive kids wear matching donated t-shirts that say, "We are worth teaching." Some parents from the markets cheer softly from the back. The quizmasters are strict. Numbers team faces a lightning round on fractions and percentages. A Hope Alive girl freezes, then remembers Amara's mantra, break big problems into small and breathe. She breathes. She solves. Applause ripples. Words team performs a group reading, switching accents to project clarity. Problem-solving crafts a plan for a community borehole, citing cost and maintenance. During a break, a hush falls. Tabena appears at the doorway. He snuck out. He shouldn't be here. But when he sees Amara, his shoulders drop in relief. I studied, he says, eyes shining. Can I try the individual round? Amara hesitates, aware of the risk. Then she nods once. Compete with integrity. Whatever happens, hold your head high. He steps up for the numeracy individual sprint. Questions flash, unit rates, ratio, a tricky VAT deduction. He's fast, but not reckless. When the bell rings, he's among the top scorers. Whispers, "Isn't that Okoro's son?" A judge confirms the rules permit his participation as an independent candidate. Final results. Hope Alive qualifies for the state finals in 2 categories. Tabena clinches a silver in the individual sprint. Tears streak a market woman's face. God bless this center. On the drive home, a black SUV screeches to a stop. Bodyguards emerge. Chief Okoro steps out. The crowd parts. His voice is low but dangerous. In the car. Now. Tabena looks at Amara. She smiles, steady. Well done, champion. He climbs into the SUV without a word. The door slams. Cameras flash. The image trends within hours. The boy torn between 2 worlds. The following week, a letter arrives from the municipal authorities. Immediate compliance notice. Fire exits must be widened, wiring upgraded, occupancy limit enforced. It's not malicious, these are real safety rules, but the 30-day deadline is a hammer blow. Amara runs the numbers and wants to cry. Compliance will cost more than the center's entire current balance. She doesn't panic in front of the children. She organizes. We'll do this the right way. Parents form a committee. A pro bono engineer visits, sketches practical fixes, promises labor at cost. A local electrician offers discounted rewiring if someone else covers materials. The NGO pledges a partial top-up. Still, a large gap remains. Word reaches Okoro's office through a mid-level manager whose niece studies at Hope Alive. The manager briefs the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility, team. Sir, minimal support would secure permits. Also, PR, she hints delicately. Okoro's stare is granite. We are not funding a center that undermines my authority in my own house. That evening, someone slips an unmarked envelope under Hope Alive's door. Inside, a bank draft covering the exact shortfall and a typed note, for the children. No publicity. Amara's first instinct is suspicion, but the draft is legit. She looks around the empty classroom and whispers a thank you into the quiet. She doesn't know who sent it. She just knows the work can continue. Repairs begin at a frantic pace. The kids help in small ways, stacking books, labeling shelves. The safety inspection team returns and, for once, smiles. Everything is in order. A green sticker goes on the door. Compliant. That night, Amara finds Tabena's letter crumpled in her satchel, one she hadn't had time to open. Dear teacher, I will not stop learning, even if I'm grounded. I'm practicing ratios with orange slices at dinner. Daddy thinks I'm just playing. She laughs through tears. The next day, she runs a lesson on ratios using suya sticks and bottled drinks. The class roars at the tastiest math they've ever seen. In a glass tower across town, Okoro stands by the window, watching the city lights prick the dusk. He signed the bank draft himself, using an obscure subsidiary to hide the trail. The gesture makes him angry, at her, at himself, at the boy who won silver without his permission. He tells himself it was only to avert negative headlines. But when he imagines a fire in that crowded room, his fists unclench. He remembers a memory he never revisits, a small, hungry boy, told by a school prefect, dirty children should sit at the back. He never forgot. The Olympiad finals loom, and national media begins to notice the center that refuses to quit. A journalist pitches a televised town hall, education inequality, elites versus street classrooms. They want Chief Damien Okoro, philanthropic donor, private school parent, and Amaran Wokoi, the woman under the bridge who built a school. Ngozi calls. It's a trap unless we control tone. But it's also a stage. Your call. Amara thinks of the kids. We'll go. We'll be gracious, and we'll be precise. In his office, Okoro's PR head argues, Sir, you're losing the cultural argument. This is an opportunity to reposition. Visionary leader supports grassroots innovation. You can still win. Okoro's eyes flash. I didn't build an empire to share a stage with a woman who teaches on cardboard. That evening, he visits his father in a quiet duplex in Surulere. The old man is smaller now, voice thin but piercing. You look tired. You taught me pride, Okoro snaps, surprising himself. Never to be looked down upon. I taught you dignity, the old man corrects softly. Pride is the cheap copy. When you were a boy and they said you were dirty, I told you, become so excellent that their insult is a joke. Not, become so powerful that you must crush everyone that reminds you where you came from. Okoro says nothing. On his way out, he passes a framed photo, his mother in a cleaner's uniform, smiling like the sun. He can't meet her eyes. The town hall is confirmed. The format is civil, short opening remarks, moderated questions, closing statements. Amara rehearses with the teens, who pepper her with tough queries. How do you scale without losing quality? Are you romanticizing struggle? What about teacher certification? She answers with receipts, strategy, and humility. On the night, the studio lights are brutal, the room tight with anticipation. Amara wears a simple Ankara dress and carries a slim folder of documents. Okoro arrives in a charcoal suit that says Empire without shouting. They nod at each other. For a second, their eyes lock, the king of marble floors and the queen of borrowed chalk. The moderator lays out the stakes. Tonight, we examine how every child can access dignity through education. Cameras roll. Comments stream live. Lagos holds its breath. Amara speaks first, her voice measured. Hope Alive began under a bridge because that was what we had. But scarcity forced creativity, peer teaching, real-life problem-solving, transparency. We are not a replacement for public schools. We are a bridge, pun intended, to keep children from falling through. She details outcomes: improved WAEC pass rates among teens who attend evening sessions, attendance logs, pathways to apprenticeships for those who aren't academic. She doesn't take a single shot at Okoro. The moderator turns to him. Okoro's voice is low, authoritative. Quality education requires infrastructure, not sentiment. Classrooms must be safe. Teachers must be certified. Children deserve excellence, not pity. He lists his foundation's donations: libraries, computers, scholarships. It's compelling and true. Questions begin. A mother asks how a child with no birth certificate can enroll. Amara explains how the center partners with a legal aid clinic to help families process documents. We bring the state to the street, she says. Okoro frowns. That was impressive. A teacher challenges, your methods are unorthodox. Where's the pedagogy? Amara opens her folder, a concise curriculum outline aligned with national standards, annotated with how each concept maps to everyday objects. If a child can explain percentages using Gary measurements, she says gently, they understand percentages. The moderator probes the rumors. Financial transparency. Amara doesn't flinch. She hands him the printed accounts and gives the audience a link to a public drive. We publish monthly. Anyone can audit us. On screen, a live graphic displays the breakdown. Comments light up. Respect. Then the question that slices the room. Mr. Okoro, your son competed as an independent candidate and credited Hope Alive for his improvement. Would you ever consider collaborating with them? The camera finds his face. The pause is a lifetime. Okoro clears his throat. My son's education is private. He stops, an unusual flicker crossing his eyes. But any model that delivers results warrants serious examination. It's not a surrender, but it's the first note of humility. For closing statements, Amara turns to the audience. This is not Amara versus Okoro. This is a city deciding whether a child's future is a luxury item. We need both, strong institutions and nimble community innovation. Doors and bridges. The room exhales. Even critics nod. The studio wraps. Off camera, she gathers her folder. A shadow falls across the desk. Okoro. Up close, he looks more tired than terrifying. You fought clean, he says quietly. I fought for them, she replies, tilting her head toward the glass where kids and parents press their faces, waving. He slips a card onto the desk. Come by tomorrow. No cameras. Just come. He walks away before she can answer. Back at Hope Alive that night, the kids can't sleep. They replay Amara's lines like a hit song. In the corner, a small green sticker glows on the door, compliant. The power flickers, then steadies. Outside, someone has left a rolled blueprint on the step. No name, just a stamped approval for a modest extension, a library wing. Amara picks it up, heart pounding. She doesn't know yet if this is an olive branch, a test, or both. She only knows the fight just changed shape. And somewhere across the city, a father stares at his ceiling, listening to the quiet between his son's breaths, wondering whether the path up must always mean stepping on those below, or whether real power is the courage to bend. The next morning, Amara walks into a glass tower that feels like another planet. The Okoro Group HQ rises above Lagos, polished marble and chrome reflecting her every insecurity. She clutches her slim folder tighter. A receptionist escorts her to the 25th floor. Chief Damien Okoro waits in an office big enough to house her entire center. He doesn't offer coffee. He doesn't smile. But he also doesn't sneer. Why did you come? He asks, staring out the window. Because you invited me, Amara replies. Her voice shakes, but her gaze doesn't. He finally turns. You embarrassed me. On live TV. Yet, you were right. He sits, fingers tapping the desk. Our foundation spends millions, but children still slip through. Your methods work. They shouldn't, but they do. Amara leans forward. Because we meet the children where they are. Not where policy pretends they are. Silence stretches. Then, surprisingly, he says, I want to fund an expansion. Your model, my money, scaled across Lagos. It's the offer of a lifetime. But Amara studies him carefully. Why? His eyes flicker. Legacy. Control. Maybe guilt. Does it matter? It does, she says firmly. Because if your money comes with chains, it's not help, it's a trap. For the first time, his composure cracks. He chuckles softly. You're braver than half the CEOs I've crushed. He slides a folder across the table. Draft plans for 10 more centers, bearing his company logo. Amara flips through. Something in her chest stirs. But she also notices, his logo dwarfs the Hope Alive name. She closes the folder. I'll consider it, she says, rising. When she leaves, Okoro mutters to himself, stubborn girl. But deep down, he feels a pang of respect. Amara returns to Hope Alive with a storm in her heart. The kids swarm her, but she forces a smile. That night, she lays out the offer to Ngozi and the Parents' Committee. It's generous, Ngozi admits. But it's also a takeover. You'll lose your independence. Before Amara can respond, the news hits. Okoro Group announces a new project, Future Elites Academy, modeled after grassroots initiatives. The press release describes methods identical to Hope Alive's, peer learning, local materials, real-life problem-solving, but with glossy branding and exclusive tuition. Amara's jaw drops. He used their meeting as reconnaissance. Now he's scaling her dream, for profit. The betrayal cuts deep. Children overhear whispers. Are we shutting down? One boy asks. Amara's heart twists. No, she says fiercely. We're not shutting down. We're doubling down. She calls a community meeting. We can't outspend him, she admits. But we can outheart him. Our strength is not in logos. It's in people. Volunteers rally. Teachers from public schools drop by in solidarity. A church donates printing. A local tech hub offers tablets. Social media buzzes with hashtags. Hashtag Hope Not Hype and hashtag Chalk Beats Gold. Meanwhile, in the Okoro mansion, Tabena explodes. Daddy, why would you steal her idea? You always tell me to earn, not cheat. Okoro's face hardens. Business is not charity. The strong set the pace. The weak adjust. But his words ring hollow, even to him. That night, he lies awake, staring at the ceiling. For the first time, he wonders, am I the villain in my son's story? The day arrives. The Lagos State Literacy and Numeracy Olympiad finals are televised live. Private academies arrive in buses, uniforms pressed. Future Elites Academy, Okoro's shiny new project, shows up too, with crisp branding, corporate banners, and TV ads running during breaks. Hope Alive kids arrive in a rickety bus, their matching t-shirts ironed with love. Amara walks them in like a general leading an army of underdogs. The competition is fierce. Numbers round. Hope Alive edges past an elite school by 2 points. Words round. Their shyest student shocks everyone with flawless grammar and stage presence. Problem-solving round. Future Elites presents a polished plan for a tech-driven smart school. Then it's Hope Alive's turn. Their team proposes a community solar grid, complete with budgeting and maintenance, drawn from lived experience of studying in the dark. The judges lean forward, visibly impressed. Then comes the individual sprint. Tabena steps up, officially registered under Hope Alive. The hall murmurs, isn't that Okoro's son? Cameras zoom. His father stiffens in the VIP row. The questions are brutal. Algebra puzzles, logic riddles, a real-world VAT calculation. Tabena breathes deeply, remembering Amara's mantra, break it down. Breathe. Own it. He answers steadily. When the bell rings, his score is announced. First place. Gold medal. The hall erupts. Hope Alive children scream and hug. Parents weep. Amara clasps Tabena's shoulders, whispering, you did it. You proved it. The cameras swing to Chief Okoro. The Mogul's mask slips. His eyes glisten, not with pride alone, but with something heavier, realization. The sun he tried to control shines brightest in the light of the woman he tried to crush. The ceremony closes with awards. Hope Alive clinches multiple medals, shocking the city. Future Elites, despite its polish, comes second overall. Journalists swarm. Amara, how did you compete against a billionaire's project and win? She lifts Tabena's medal and smiles. Because education is not a product. It's a purpose. When children believe they matter, they excel. The soundbite trends instantly. Backstage, Chief Okoro confronts Amara privately. His voice is low. You've humiliated me. Amara meets his gaze. No. You humiliated yourself the day you thought money could buy dignity. His lips part, but no words come. For the first time, this titan of marble floors feels small. His empire towers, yet here stands a young woman in a faded Ankara dress who commands a power he can't measure, respect. As he leaves, the crowd parts for Amara instead of him. A donor he'd been courting walks past him to shake her hand. Reporters trail her, not him. He watches her climb onto a bus with laughing children, and something inside him cracks. At home that night, Tabena refuses dinner. Daddy, he says quietly, if you can't respect her, you'll lose me too. The words stab deeper than any business loss. For the first time, Damien Okoro feels fear, not of poverty, but of emptiness. Weeks later, Hope Alive becomes the talk of the nation. Government officials visit, NGOs line up, and the center secures national funding to expand into 5 states. Amara is invited to Abuja to speak at an education summit. On stage, she recounts her journey. I was told I would never amount to anything. But today, I stand here because children believed in me before I believed in myself. The hall rises in a standing ovation. Back in Lagos, Chief Okoro watches on TV. His chest tightens as he hears ministers quoting her words. A commentator says, Amara Nwokoi is redefining grassroots education. Even billionaires couldn't stop her. That line slices him open. Later, he drives himself, no bodyguards, no SUV entourage, to the bridge where it all began. The spot is empty now, save for chalk stains fading on the concrete. He remembers the day he called her a beggar. He remembers throwing money at her feet. He remembers his son's eyes, full of admiration for her. When he finally visits the new Hope Alive campus, it's not as a mogul but as a father. The children swarm him, unafraid now. Amara emerges, clipboard in hand. Their eyes meet, no malice, just history. I was wrong, he admits, voice breaking. You built what I couldn't. And you gave my son back his joy. Amara studies him. For once, the mighty are humbled. She nods slightly. It was never about me. It was about them. She gestures to the children, who run across the playground, books in hand. Chief Okoro swallows hard. If you'll have me, I'd like to support. This time, not with control. Just with gratitude. The comeback is complete. Not only Amara's rise from a girl under the bridge to a national icon, but also the humbling of a man who thought power meant crushing others. The story ends with Tabena racing toward Amara, medal around his neck, laughter in his voice. The camera pans to Chief Okoro, watching silently, stunned, not by her wealth, but by the undeniable truth. She won where he failed. And for the first time in years, he whispers, "Thank you."